Let's see. Looks like YouTube is up. Looks like Kick is up. Let's see. Rumble? Come on now. Oh no. I don't know if you guys can tell, but we are no longer in beautiful sunny Florida right now. It is pouring. It is absolutely pouring. We've got a flood warning, so there's a non-zero chance, let's just say, that we'll lose power during this episode. So if I abruptly cut off and don't come back within, 2 minutes, just assume I am without power and I will not be back for the day. The Chinese are back. The Chinese bots are back. They're promoting random things in Kick again. But yeah, there is absolutely a non-zero chance that I completely lose power during the stream today. And there is quite literally nothing I can do about it. So, I figured I'd throw that in at the start, in case something is to happen. But we're going to pretty much just speed through everything today in hopes that I can get it all done. There's only one main story today. But we're just going to speed through everything in hopes that I can get it all done before I lose power, as there's about a 1/4 inch of sitting water just outside. So, nothing I can do about that. Just absolutely nothing. But what I can do is try and get all this in pretty quickly. Abbreviated episode today because of that, because I've been busy most of the day with other ventures of my life. So you'll just have to roll with it today. But in all reality, there's simply one important story today. I guess multiple that all go in the one greater story. But we'll focus on what is been announced last night. The 11th hour deal for a 10-point peace plan, 10-point ceasefire. What that looks like, I guess, what it entails, and what's happened since this ceasefire has been reached. Whether people are following through with it, completely different question. But there was a ceasefire reached last night. I believe it was around 7 o'clock, 6:30, roughly, a little bit after we went off last night. They're dogfighting in the hallway. That's nice. Wow, that's incredibly distracting. Michael Vick, please stop. But yeah, there was a 10-point peace plan allegedly agreed to. The U.S. had a 15.1. Iran pushed back with a 10.1. At some point along the line, there was an alleged 2-point peace plan. But what has been claimed to have been signed by both parties, whether they realize it or not, like I said, completely different question, is this 10-point plan for a ceasefire, followed by a supposed delegation to Islamabad, Pakistan on Saturday. It's alleged that J.D. Vance would be there on negotiating in the U.S.'s behalf. I don't know how likely that is. I think they're throwing his name around, doing a lot more than he actually is right now, just in hopes that they can push him into the president role as the presidential nomination in 2028. Poor guy. This whole thing has been career suicide for him, but it is what it is, I guess. So, let's go through what this alleged 10-point peace plan is. I've got two different versions that I could find that basically say the same thing. This 10-point peace plan was allegedly leaked by an Iranian official through Iranian media, but we haven't seen one on the U.S.'s side. What they claim that they signed, so they're also being very ambiguous as to whether they agreed to this or not. Presumptively they did, but we'll go through what both Sky News and then Al Jazeera have reported. CNN has reported one. The White House has said that one is completely false, but we have no actual substantive answer to what the actual one that they signed is, so we've just got to assume. I guess we don't have to, but we should assume that they have signed one that probably looks just like the one that has been pushed to Iranian media from allegedly someone who has been engaged in these negotiations. But the 10-point plan goes as follows. Number 1, a withdrawal of U.S. forces from the region. Number 2, Iranian control of the Strait of Hormuz. Number 3, compensation for damages to Iran. Number 4, removal of sanctions. Number 5, release frozen Iranian assets. Number 6, Iranian commitment not build nuclear weapons. Number 7, acceptance of Iran's right to enrich uranium. Number 8, agreement to peace treaties with regional countries. Number 9, ceasing hostilities against all resistance groups in the region. And number 10, that these provisions will be backed by a UN resolution. That was from Sky News. Now, what Al Jazeera has reported, always, keep your eyes peeled with what they're saying, but I think they're probably pretty accurate in this instance. But what they say, the 10-point plan that has allegedly not been made public has the following. 1, fundamental commitment to non-aggression from the U.S. 2, controlled passage through the Strait of Hormuz in coordination with the Iranian armed forces, which would mean that Iran retains its leverage over the waterway. 3, an acceptance of Iran's nuclear enrichment program. 4, lifting of all primary and secondary sanctions and resolutions against Iran. 5, end of all resolutions against Iran at the International Atomic Energy Agency. 6, end of all resolutions against Iran by the United Nations Security Council. 7, the withdrawal of U.S. combat forces from all bases in the region. 8, full compensation for damages suffered by Iran during the war to be secured through payments to Iran by ships passing through the Strait of Hormuz. 9, the release of all Iranian assets and properties frozen abroad. And 10, the ratification of all these matters in a binding United Nations Security Council resolution. If this is what we signed, why did we fight? Why did we go to war for this if we were going to end up in a worse place during a ceasefire than where we started in a war of aggression? How does that make sense? It's probably very hard for the family members of those that were killed in this Iran war to come to terms with that their son or daughter lost their life in a war of aggression against Iran, in which during the ceasefire the U.S. concedes not only its forward deployment in the region, but also concedes the trade route which this was open before. The Strait of Hormuz was simply open before this. You could sail any ship through you wanted. And now, in this ceasefire, we have conceded that Iran will have control of it. I mean, these are terms hard to deal with, should be hard to deal with for anybody. That everything was going fine before this, and now we're paying more for gas, and it's going to remain that way. We've lost American lives. We've lost billions of dollars in equipment. And what do we have to show for it? Well, we have a closed Strait of Hormuz today, and people coming back in body bags. I mean, that's all we have to show for this. And we're going to take, the goal of no nuclear enrichment out the door. If this is an accurate 10-point plan, these are somewhat accurate. It seems that one of their things is that they will continue to enrich uranium. And that was like, no more enriched uranium. And now, just do it if you want. There's nothing we can really do about it. Close the Strait of Hormuz. There's nothing we can really do about it. We went on a war of aggression and came out the loser in another country. It makes no sense. I guess maybe the goal of this was just to make you pay more for gas, make you pay more for fertilizer, for food this year, more for plastics. Maybe that was the goal. Maybe the goal was to ruin the U.S. economy. That's the only goal I can figure out now, especially given what allegedly has been signed on to as this 10-point plan for this ceasefire, which, hasn't even worked out today. If you've been paying any attention today, there have been 4 total ships through the Strait of Hormuz. This is the lowest tally for any day throughout this war. The lowest. 4 ships today passed through. Are we winning yet? Is this the win we wanted? Is the Strait of Hormuz closed? I didn't think, we were going over there to make trade more difficult for us, to make our lives more costly. But this is like the win we get. That instead of, maybe a dozen ships going through, well, we got 4 through the day, and we're in a ceasefire because Iran controls the Strait of Hormuz now, because we've essentially signed off to it, at least allegedly signed off to it. What else has happened today regarding this ceasefire? Well, Israel continues to attack Lebanon. One of these points, literally demonstrated by an Iranian official, was Shabazz Sharif. He made a post on X, and it says, "With the greatest humility, I am pleased to announce that the Islamic Republic of Iran and the United States of America, along with their allies, have agreed to an immediate ceasefire everywhere, including Lebanon and elsewhere, effective immediately." Well, I think if there's a ceasefire including Lebanon and the U.S.'s allies, it makes no sense as to why 100 bombs were dropped on Beirut in 10 minutes today. In 10 minutes. 100 bombs, essentially at the same time, during a ceasefire. The ceasefire means nothing. It means nothing, especially if you can't control Israel, which we have demonstrated time and time again during this war. We can't prevent them from stopping it. We can't prevent them from restarting it. All we have to do is just hop on the back seat and say we're along for the ride. And it's not working out well for us. We are in the position of power. We are the one that gives them their position of power. Every single bit of it. All the military technology. We give it to them. And what do we get in return? Well, we get drug along on their coattail into further and further wars because it benefits them. They are seeking this greater Israel. And we're just, okay with it. We're like, yeah, we will expend all of our money, all of our resources, our children to this war. And all you have to do is continue to propagate it. And we're okay with this relationship. We're okay with them pushing us to forever wars for no good cause of our own. I mean, truly, there were no missiles that could hit the U.S., any part of it. It could hit U.S. bases in the Middle East. Whether we should have bases there is a whole nother question, which I probably won't. Actually, we'll go ahead and address it today. Why do we have them there? Well, we have them there to defend Israel. Does it defend the U.S. that we have bases in the Middle East? No. They do nothing for national defense. They are strictly there to defend Israel. And using this, Israel continues to drag them into conflict, have them, by bombing Iran and its proxies, brings the U.S. into it because we are so entrenched with them. I mean, this is our relationship. I mean, but that's why we have bases in the Middle East. It's to defend Israel and trade, oil trade. And what has this got us? Well, the oil's not flowing out of the Strait of Hormuz now. And we're, I guess, defending Israel like they're meant to be there for. But if Iran couldn't shoot a rocket to the U.S., how is this defensive for us? Well, it's not. If Iran has no nuclear weapons that could reach the U.S., how is this defensive for us? Well, it's not. I mean, Iran had no plans of a ground invasion of Florida or Texas or New York. They just didn't. Now you can go on about, oh, they have the sleeper cells. Well, that's just a result of shitty policy in the U.S., truly. That's a result of mass migration that we've allowed in. But there was truly no legitimate threat from Iran. Yet we go into this war of aggression and come out on the other side saying you can control 20% of the oil supply. Go ahead and take your $2 million ship toll. We'll pay for reparations if you want us to. That's another one that's been pitched around, how we might be paying for reparations in Iran. Utterly crazy, utterly silly. It's like, oh, we wanted them to never have a nuclear weapon, but we're just going to let them keep some enrichment. They had some enrichment before and they never built a nuclear weapon. Well, once they do it now, you know where it's going. They want to have the same nuclear deterrent as North Korea at this point because we've demonstrated we're willing to do this. And we've also demonstrated how weak we are at doing so. I mean, this is so much lose in one ceasefire deal. I think I'm tired of losing. Remember when we would never get tired of winning? I'm tired of losing. I'm tired of losing, guys. I want to win. I want to win again. But all I ever get is losing. But during this ceasefire, like I said, Lebanon has been getting absolutely destroyed. The capital, Beirut, 100 bombs in 10 minutes today. And you wonder why we keep getting dragged into these forever wars. It's because we have absolutely zero control over our allies. We cannot tell them no. And if we do tell them no, they do it anyways, and we pay the consequences every single time. Through U.S. soldiers, through equipment, through finances, and we just say, let's do it again. Let's do it again. I guess this is what winning feels like. This must be what winning feels like. What else has happened during this ceasefire? Well, Saudi Arabia's east-west oil pipeline has been hit by a drone today. This pipeline transports oil from the oil fields near the Persian Gulf all the way across Saudi Arabia to the port of Yanbu on the western Red Sea. This pipeline is capable of transporting 5 million barrels a day. Blown up today by a drone. Unknown whether this was Iran, one of Iran's proxies, or it's been alluded that this was a false flag done by our greatest ally. People are thinking it's possibly that because Iran reported that it's shot 0 drones today. Well, maybe they just shot 1. Hopefully that's the case. But, I mean, we keep getting drugged further and further into this. And it makes sense that it wasn't Iran. Truly would. Anger the Gulf nations back up, the Arab nations back up. Get them angry. Get them back on board. It only makes sense, truly, but it could have been an Iranian drone. Could have been. It also could have been a false flag with the intent to rile up Saudi Arabia, get them back on board. Because, if your nation's sovereignty is under attack, it's far worse than losing a couple million barrels of oil a day in sales. So that's what's been going on today. That's at least what I've been able to see. Confirm there's been attacks on civilian infrastructure in Lebanon. Allegedly, the last bridge over the Litani River in Lebanon was destroyed today by Israel, meaning you can no longer cross the river if all the bridges are destroyed. But I'm not the only person that's noticing this. Iran has actually noticed. They said through the foreign minister today on X, he posts, the Iran-U.S. ceasefire terms are clear and explicit. The U.S. must choose ceasefire or continued war via Israel. It cannot have both. The world sees the massacres in Lebanon. The ball is in the U.S. court, and the world is watching whether it will act on its commitments. So I'm obviously not the only person that notices this. Even the enemies are noticing. Well, obviously they'd notice because they're getting bombed. But it's absolutely absurd that you sign on to this ceasefire plan under the assumption that your best friend is going to stop destroying stuff, follow the rules while you try and work out a deal that's favorable for everybody. And then what did they do? Well, they go, oh, well, we just wanted to blow up Lebanon anyways. We were going to do it anyways, so, too bad, so sad. Keep fighting Iran for us. Apparently it's very clear in the agreement that the U.S. and their allies will stop fighting everywhere, including Lebanon, according to leaders in Iran. Foreign minister, along with others. Let's see. Who is this CM Sharif? Well, what's his first name? What's his role? Shabazz. Good old Shabazz. It's my best friend. Oh, Prime Minister of Pakistan. So the one who brokered this deal knows what's in it more than likely. He probably knows whether there was a agreement to include Lebanon in the ceasefire or not. He'd probably know. He was the one passing the papers back and forth. And he's calling it out too. And everybody is now saying that the U.S. does not negotiate in good faith. I mean, there's even more. I mean, there is Mohsen Rezai, butchered that one. Don't care. Sorry, Iran. But he's a senior Iranian politician. He says the ceasefire is broken because of Netanyahu. Then he calls him a rabid dog. The statement says, "We stand with all our might alongside Hezbollah Mujahideen, and we will punish the Zionist enemy. The responsibility for the collapse of this ceasefire lies with America, which either does not want to or cannot leash its rabid dog. Violations of the ceasefire by America will also not be tolerated." Well, that's Iran, senior politician in Iran, saying it's over. Ceasefire's over. We didn't even make it 24 hours, guys. We didn't make it 24 hours. And Israel ruins it for everybody again. I mean, it's honestly at some point it's like, what did you expect? We gotta pick better friends. I mean, truly. I say this every day. But we're picking bad friends, and they're picking bad battles right now. And we're just drug along by our coattail in there and expected to do all the heavy lifting. I mean, there's nothing much else to say. 10-point peace plan lasted, what, 20 hours? If that. And we're right back into it. I mean, Iran says it's over. Pakistan says this isn't what you guys agreed to. The White House has apparently no idea what it signed, as we've seen multiple conflicting reports from not just Press Secretary Leavitt today, but from Donald Trump himself. So maybe we don't know what we signed. Maybe we just didn't read it. I mean, or maybe we knew that we wouldn't follow through with it anyways, so we just signed it in hopes to have this symbolic victory of a ceasefire, which closes the Strait of Hormuz, which allows further enrichment. I mean, this is our symbolic victory right here, is this piece of paper that the details didn't last 24 hours even. And this is our victory. And if this is what winning is, I'm tired of it. If this is what winning is, I'm getting tired of it. I'd rather win at the gas pump. I was driving yesterday, 4:30. I mean, every day it's up and up and up. And I feel like I'm winning. No, I feel like I'm being gaslit into a world war, and the people in charge of it have no idea what's going on, and they're not reading anything, or they just have, they're just bad faith actors. And if that's the case, I mean, I don't know what to do about it. I mean, there's nothing we can do at this point. I guess hope that Congress invokes the 25th Amendment, I guess. I don't know. But I don't know. There's also talks that J.D. Vance will no longer be attending the delegation in Islamabad. That came out rather recently. He was supposed to go, when this was signed, to Islamabad to negotiate with Iran, hopefully negotiate in good faith. And then now it's claimed that he will no longer be going. Now, why do we think that is? Well, there's a long history of when we go to negotiate with Iran, we blow everybody up. I don't see that as too far out of feasibility here, too far out of the realm of feasibility. I see that it happens once again this Saturday. I go, oh, we can't get the deal we want with these guys. Let's just herd them into a room in Pakistan and blow the thing up. That's what we're good at, I guess. That's how we negotiate. And then we'll just get more and more radical people. But I think it's alarming that they've decided that, we were going to send J.D. Vance, the vice president, but now it's like, maybe we shouldn't. Maybe we should just do it a little differently. Maybe we should not send him over there because there's security concerns. And then all of a sudden a missile falls down on the negotiating room, and for the third time in this conflict. And then we just go, oh, well, it just happens to rain missiles on negotiations these days. I'm sorry about that, Iran. Would you like to send a new delegation next week? And then we're back at square one with more radicalized people. But that's really all we have with this 10-point plan, this 10-point ceasefire that is not much of a ceasefire by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, the Strait of Hormuz is closed. I guess if you're in Iran, you're not getting tired of winning. Israel is bombing Beirut, bombing the rest of Lebanon as we speak, against what Pakistan has determined one of the conditions of the ceasefire were, or at least has stated what one of them is. Saudi Arabia's oil pipeline, the one route away from the Arabian Sea, Persian Gulf, whatever you want to call it, to the Red Sea, blown up today, meaning they can't even divert oil that way anymore. And this is what a ceasefire is. So I'm glad you all stuck around to understand what a ceasefire with the U.S. and Israel looks like, because it doesn't look like this for any other country. It's kind of sad. It's kind of sad we suck so bad at negotiating. But I guess this is the art of the deal. There's going to be like a new chapter, and it's going to be like the art of the diplomatic airstrike. That's going to be like the new prologue for Art of the Deal. It's like it goes through all the business deals, and then at the end, it's like, so what you're going to do is you're going to get all their top leaders in the one room, and you're going to tell them they're there for negotiations, and you're going to get your biggest missile and put it through the roof, and that's how you negotiate diplomacy. And then, I don't know, there's going to be some people that are like, yeah, this is good writing. This is good writing. Art of the Deal 2. Art of the Deal 2, I love it. I mean, let's see, is there anything else? There was a meeting with NATO today with Mark Rutte. I've learned that's how you pronounce his name. You don't combine the T's, you pronounce each of them individually. There's a meeting with him today, allegedly about possibly leaving NATO. I'm pretty sure the U.S. has all the power it needs to just unilaterally leave, according to how it's written. But, maybe we need to ask some dude named Mark Rutte if we can do it. We asked him if we could have Greenland. He said yes, and apparently we're still negotiating that as well. I mean, I'm glad that that's going well. Thought we had the framework for a deal laid out on acquiring Greenland in January. We're sitting here in April with nothing to show for it, nothing whatsoever. I thought we were going to have Greenland. This is the art of the deal, truly. the new chapter of the art of the deal. Saying you're going to do something and either not doing it or blowing up the negotiators. Art of the Deal 2. I should write that book. I guess I can't call it Art of the Deal. I'll call it Art of the Negotiation. But yeah, that's basically all the most important stories from today. There's been a few more, but like I said, I've been out today for a lot of the day, so I haven't had much time to look through all this. I just was, looking through time to time and seeing, oh wow, this ceasefire isn't going well. It's not going well at all. I mean, they're telling us, oh, it's great, it's a ceasefire, and all the ships are going through. We've had 4 today. There was more in the opening of the war than there are today. And we're in a ceasefire. I mean, and then you're going to tell me I'm a panicking and we're winning and we won the war, but we defeated Iran, yet Iran still has more control, actually, now than it did before. But we won. Trust us, we won. Like, just... crazy. Conservatives debate investigating influencers for undisclosed foreign funds. Whoa. I might be the top podcaster after that one. I might be the only man left. Thanks to you guys. There's no other country to serve other than America. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, Qatar. Keep your money. I'm sorry, Israel. Keep my money. I don't want to join your $7,000 club. Keep it. I'm fine. You scammed me once. Don't scam me twice. It's fine. Turkey. I'm fine. I don't want your money. China. No. China's disgusting. I don't want their money either. I don't want to even go there. I was talking to somebody yesterday. I was like, where would you not go in the world? China is number one. China number one on places I would never go. Place is a disaster. China number one for sure. But let's hop into the good news here in a second, or I guess right now. Make sure you guys are dropping a like on Rumble, dropping a like on YouTube. Sharing this episode, sharing the channel, helping me get it to new audiences. I appreciate y'all doing that for me. Most importantly, appreciate you guys sticking around till the end today. Like I said, not much is going on. It's kind of like the world is like slowing down right now with this whole Iran ceasefire, what is hopefully the wind down of this war. It seems like everybody is just stopping and staring and looking and seeing, is the train crash going to continue? And it looks like it might. It truly looks like it might. Because there are no tangible victories that this has gave the U.S. as of now. There are tangible victories that it's given Iran. So I guess they're in the driver's seat. They're the ones winning. Which is a damn shame, but apparently we're winning. If you just listen to the people surrounding the White House, they'll tell you, oh, we're winning. But are we? The Strait of Hormuz is closed. Did we win? If Iran is going to continue to enrich nuclear fuel or nuclear stockpiles or whatever you want to call it, uranium, are we winning? I mean, if we're going to pay back reparations for this, are we winning? I mean, it doesn't feel like we're winning. removing the sanctions. I mean, the sanctions were just fine before we decided, to do this. And then now we might end up removing the sanctions from Iran. I mean, absolutely crazy stuff. Looks like it stopped raining. We may make it through this whole episode without losing power. Shout out to the great local utility networks. Make sure you're paying your power bill, guys. There's your 30-second advertisement for my local utility. But today we're looking at Matthew chapter 28, verse 16. This is when Jesus sends his disciples out into the world to share the gospel before he goes up to heaven, rises up to heaven in front of them. I mean, incredible story here, but we'll get right into it. So, chapter 28, verse 16, it says, "Then the 11 disciples went to Galilee, to the mountain where Jesus had told them to go. When they saw him, they worshipped him, but some doubted. Then Jesus came to them and said, 'All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Therefore go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and the Son of the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you. And surely I am with you always, to the very end of the age.'" I guess this is another one of the plenty of reasons that I always do this at the end now, is disciples are meant to spread the gospel. Now, I'm not one of the original 11, believe it or not. Was born a little late for that. But the same command belongs to me as it did to them from Jesus, and that we should be going to spread this message to all nations. Spread it to everyone, everywhere. Make sure everyone has the opportunity to hear the word, the good word, the words of Jesus Christ, his teachings. Teaching them Jesus's commands, teaching everybody Jesus's commands, and seeking for them to be baptized, believing, and then going through believers' baptism. This is his command for us, or for them, but it still applies to us as Christians. And I feel that, this is my best platform to do just that. This is probably my only platform to do just that, where I can speak to people, whether it's just at the end of every episode or, even in person. I try to do it in person when the opportunity arises, but this is my platform to share this stuff with you guys, to open you to the idea of a higher power, of Jesus. And he commanded to me through this belief of him that I need to be a disciple. I need to share his word. As he has commanded them, he has commanded me. Like he says, to the very end of the age. A lot of people say, we're coming to the end of the ages, the end of times. And sometimes I feel that way too. But there's only one way it happens, and that is when every nation of people has heard the gospel, has heard the teachings of Jesus. And I don't know how far away we are from that, truly. Maybe that one's been fulfilled. But everybody needs to hear this before the end times, because it's the only way out. It's the only way to survive the end times, is that you hear the gospel, you accept Jesus into your heart, and you will live forever with him in heaven. But this is my, my way of making disciples of all nations. This is my personal duty to doing so, is just sharing you a little bit of the word every day, letting you dip your toe in. And then through that, you decide maybe you want to go join a church. You want to talk to somebody about Christianity. You want to take the leap of faith to becoming baptized. That's the whole idea of this part, is just give you a taste of what it's like, what is actually said in the Bible, and what it means to follow God's word. And it's not just to help you, but it's to also fulfill the commandments of myself. Not me giving them, but the commandments Jesus gave to me, which is to attempt to make disciples of all nations. Well, not to attempt to do so. And that's why I share this at the end of every show. It's because it's what's expected of me as a Christian, is to not hide my faith, but to use what I have to promote it to others and to get other people to then join me on this journey with Christ. It's not something that's meant to be alone, just me by myself, only Christian in the world. It's meant to be shared. And you do that at church, you do that with, church groups, Bible study group, you name it. We're supposed to commune as a group of Christians, and I guess this is kind of my way of doing it. I'm doing it with you guys as opposed to face-to-face in person. And I hope you don't find that tacky, but it's the best way that I can do it. I can't meet with every single one of you every day and, speak to you. Unfortunately, you're more than welcome to type in the chat and say, I don't understand this. I don't understand this. Could you explain it a little bit better? Because I'm more than willing to, truly. Or, I don't understand what this expects of me. Could you explain why I should go to a church, why I should join a Bible study group, why I should follow these teachings? And I'm more than willing to. I may not be the perfect answer, but nobody's perfect. So that's just the way it works. But yeah, that's all we have for today, I do believe. And if you want me to pray with you, even over the live stream, I'm more than willing to. I think I'm over the whole being scared of it thing. Now. What are you going to do about it? Come through my computer screen? We're going to jump through the chat window? Probably not. Huh? Well, this is breaking. Well, that's strange. Allegedly that the Vatican was confronted by the Pentagon with the threat of military force. Why? What did they do over there? It says that the Pope is unlikely to visit the U.S. after a train wreck Trump admin meeting. Yikes. Just yikes. I'm not a Catholic. I guess you can probably tell. But they still are a church that teaches the truth of Jesus Christ. They're a little more doctrinal, but but they still teach the truth of Jesus Christ, and confronting them with military force, a little over the deep end, guys. I know that they're against this whole religious war, But my goodness, that's over the line. For some reason, we haven't threatened any mosque other than the Al-Aqsa one, but you feel the need to threaten the Vatican. I mean, what's next? We're gonna like go threaten Buddhist monks. So we're gonna send SEAL Team 6 in for all the monks. It's like, give me a break. This is getting entirely ridiculous. Entirely ridiculous. That's all we have for today. I'm wrapping it up here. I'll look into that a little bit later. That headline just dropped minutes ago. Completely shook me, though. I mean, truly. That's some news right there. So we'll probably be looking into that at least a little bit tomorrow. But yeah, make sure you guys are dropping a like. Make sure you guys are following on Kick and Rumble, subscribing on YouTube, sharing the channel, sharing the show, sharing this episode. One of the previous ones, somebody might want a little bit more understanding of what is going on in the world. They don't like watching, Fox News or CNN or any of the other sorts. MSNBC, they want a podcast that gives them daily news. Feel free to send over the show. And that way they can join you in the chat, join me in the chat. We can all bounce ideas around, and at the end, all get to know our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ better. Like I said, that's it for today. Somehow we survived a power outage. There are floaties floating around on the pool deck. Not in the pool, on the pool deck right now. Kind of crazy. So, yeah, somehow we survived a power outage. Hopefully my car's not floating around outside, but that's a different worry for a different time. But yeah, I should be back tomorrow at 4:45 Eastern Daylight Time with another show. Just whatever happens tomorrow, whatever happens tonight with this ceasefire completely falling apart. We're just along for the ride right now, truly. Also, I believe the Masters have started this week, so that's always fun. If you're a big golf person, it is the week for you, and I hope you are enjoying that. I just saw a video of it, and the weather looks a little bit better in Augusta than it does here today. So, kind of jealous, but that's all we have. So we'll sign off here. To my people on the East Coast, I hope you get home safe. To my people further west, I hope you finish up your workday strong and get home safe as well. To my people in the local Florida area, I hope you don't drown on the way home from work because the water is rising. I'll talk to you guys very, very soon.